Hello and welcome to the Neurodivergent Show with me, Imo Folami. This is the Neurodivergent Show where we discuss all things ADHD, all things OCD, all things autism spectrum and dyslexia. Today, I want to share with you a story of a young man, a boy. Let's start from his childhood. This boy grew up knowing love, raised in a very awesome family. But at some point, he just started noticing that there was something different about him. He couldn't place his hands around it. He just always felt like, I'm not, I do not act the same way my siblings do. Even when I go to class, some people say there is just something about me. I'm like extra hyper, a little bit all over the place. But at the same time, I am very smart though, because um, I ace my exams. I don't even study hard for it. Um, but then there is just something that he wasn't able to place his hands around. And this went on from childhood even to adulthood. And now that he's an adult, he kept on searching for answers. Like, I understand that I'm quite different, but I haven't been able to figure out yet. I know that I do not act the way others do, other typical people do, but I wish I could get some answers. And he got an answer, and that answer is going to be sharing with us today. And he's not just the only person here, he also has a friend with a similar experience. And today, we're going to be meeting two successful young men, young African men that are doing great in their own field. They're going to come share their story with us, what they found out so far. How life has been for them, the struggles, the good, the not so good. They're going to let us in on what it feels like to live, to be different in this kind of world. Have they been accepted? Have they not been accepted? Have they found an answer to this question they've been searching for? We will be answering that in a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm going to be playing something as a means of introduction for one of the guests. Yes, I got it. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick listen.
You see, if you're anything like me, then you know what it's like to fight frustration. Frustration that comes with trying to win in a system that's rigged against you. A system that asks you to get 10 years experience before you get the job, but says you must be under 25. A system that makes it hard to believe and makes you start to doubt yourself. But if you're anything like me, then you always find a way to beat the system and control your own destiny. And I found it when I opened my online store on Pocket.
I have the pleasure of introducing our own Lulu and our own Oreva. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Neurodivergent Show.
Hello.
How
Hi,
are you
guys.
doing today? Let's start with Lulu. Lulu, can we meet you?
Oh, hi. My name is Lulu, and it's my second time on this show. I like to call myself a lot because I am a lot. And I just started my post awareness journey. That's ADHD. I heard about ADHD for the first time in October last year. Koti, my elder sister, the host, who upon researches figured, oh, that thing that's not been adding up, that has made me different from every other person, growing up, that has made people look at me in some type of way that could have just been me being neurodivergent. So I went on to make more researches and I realized that it's been ADHD. And it was a sweet, bitter experience for me. I remember driving the streets of Lagos, sometimes just busting out in tears because before awareness, I'd always struggled with a lot. I mean, I still am struggling, but I'm aware and I'm conscious, and I'm deliberate. I'm putting in the efforts. But before then, I knew something was wrong. It was a case of wrestling against what you did not know, and then because you did not know where it was, you could not even share it. You
Hmm.
get me? So I had to you had to accept it, sometimes patience started becoming a virtue. Patience is a virtue, anyways, but patience started becoming. I had to resort to patience, forgetting that success requires consistency, and I'm not wired to be consistent.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying, But now it's a different case. I'm aware. I still battle consistency, but now I battle it consciously.
Mm.
While I'm not hard on myself, I let myself be sometimes. But it's about to be a good life for me, basically.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree. Now, if you heard Lulu correctly, he mentioned a few things. It said something. He said ADHD. In case you're wondering what ADHD is, we're going to get into that. It also said consistency. We're going to break all that down in a little bit. With us tonight also is Oreva. He's a successful entrepreneur. He's going to tell us more about himself and the things he does and how, this journey has come about. Hi, Oreva. Welcome to the Neurodivergent Show. Can we meet you?
Hi, Mo. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and thank you to everybody who's been here helping us troubleshoot, watching still. We appreciate you. Okay, yeah, so my name is Oreva, and um, I am a lot as much as I do a lot. So, like Emo started with the introduction, I am one of those people that a lot of people would call jack of all trades because I happen to be able to do a lot of things. Okay, but growing up here, I I realized at some point that I was different from my peers, my siblings, but I couldn't tell exactly in what way I was different. Do you get? I just know that I was the one always running into troubles. Do you get? I was the one that was restless. I was the one that could not sit at a place for X amount of time. Do you get? I'm the one they call busybody and all of that. And on the flip side, I'm also like extra smart. I'm the guy who doesn't mean to read to pass an exam. All I have to do is be in the class when the teacher is teaching. Do you get? Like I had, it's incredible. Like growing up, when I started secondary school, I did JSS one first term, which I started midterm. Yeah, and by the time we were done with first term, they promoted me to JSS to the next term. So I
Wow.
started people I started with, I became their senior. Do you understand? And like there's just these pointers of smart, smart. And from growing up into like adulthood, you know, there was this people were also pointing this smart part of me. You get like you are very creative, the things that you do, genius, these are words that they would describe me with. But this thing that I had no idea what it was still causing troubles for me in my life. I was still struggling. I was struggling with relationships, personal relationships,
Mm.
business relationships. I was struggling with keeping up with deadlines, meeting up deadlines. I was forgetting important things. I mean, it's as bad as I remember doing clearance when I was doing pre-degree in a university. I was doing clearance. I literally lost my pack of certificates, all the documents that I needed. I lost them. Till this day, I never found it. Do you get? That's like how. So, and for the most part, do you get like, other than people, you know, calling me different names and labels, I'm also on a search because I, as an individual, I want to do better. I want to be better. You see, there are like goals that I have for myself personally that I am not reaching. You get, so there's this pain. I know for a fact that there's certain times where I went through depression because like, okay, if he's being lazy, like I am out here trying to put in the work, but nothing is working. Do you understand? Like I've lived my life this way for the longest time, not knowing exactly what was wrong. Now, it was a random day on the beach. I was just, my girlfriend and I were just chilling on the beach, and then we met this guy randomly, like just random. And we started vibing, GK. One thing led to the other, the conversations were going good, we exchanged contacts and whatnot. And somewhere down the line, we followed each other on Instagram, and that would be Lulu, who is on the who's on this interview as well. And he mentioned ADHD. So I had heard ADHD, but I heard it in passing, and I didn't really take it seriously. Do you get? But he was the first person who really like made me look into what ADHD was. And yeah, I was going through. So when he mentioned it, I started doing research on it and whatnot, and I realized that, oh wow. So this thing we have been calling village people the entire time, he has a name, ADHD, and I am not alone. Like there, there are actually like other people. So, uh, goddamn, this was supposed to be an introduction, and please,
See,
you
when
have.
when I
That's
have
ADHD
ADHD,
there, bro.
when I have ADHD, you already know. Like I already know. It's we just said hi. If you say hi to an ADHD, that's one that's one way to tell. I
You
mean,
need
you
to
say
see me.
hi to an
You need to see
ADHD,
me.
they're like, oh yeah,
Students have
hi.
seen
So
me.
yesterday, as I went, I now came, and
Oh my
that's the
goodness.
beauty of this show, and that's one of the things. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why this show exists, so that we can know people and so that we can understand people. If you notice this young man, Lulu and Oreva, they've mentioned similar things, and it's no coincidence that they shared the similar things and there is something common to them. You heard them mention things about being hyper, being restless, being like the odd one out, being jack of all trade, extremely talented, creative, smart, but then, they're just all this mixed reviews and all this mixed comments, but they just always felt like there is something. You also had Oreva mention things like village people. Now, for some of our American people that do not know what that is, it just means like you have some kind of spiritual problem, possessed, maybe, if that's a way you can understand it. And there's some people that are like after your case and they're trying to get at you and stuff. So, you have all that going on, and it just makes you wonder still when people say ADHD is not real and you have people like this come share their story. Is ADHD still not real? Were they making it up? Were they pretending when they were little? Because I live this. I experienced my younger brother Lulu leave this. So when people say that it is not real, I'm wondering, did they pretend all their lives? ADHD is real. And I hope the more we become aware, the more we begin to understand people, see them for who they are, and possibly love them, accept them for who they are. We have some comments here. Kidre says nothing is ever random. There was your yes, there was your answer in that meeting. Yes, your meeting with Lolu gave you all the answer you wanted, and I'm
Sorry,
glad
sorry, I
you
have to
met him.
interrupt you. I have to interrupt you real quick. I was going
Okay,
to
go ahead.
contribute that
Look, go ahead,
on the
sir.
day I met on the day I met Oreva, I was on the beach to actually get some artwork for my sister. I was
Right.
on the beach to
Interesting.
actually get work artwork for her. Then I
It's such a
just saw
small
him.
world. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
and
was
and
it
and
was it
and,
was his
and
nephew's birthday and stuff. And Kicho says, I do the same thing. Thank you so much for your comments. If you're on the show, we would like you to say hi to us. Would like you to give us a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and do so now. Would like to hear from you, your contributions. We wanna know your thoughts. We want to know your experience. Maybe yours, maybe somebody you know that has ADHD or just something similar. All right, now, guys, let's get into the basics, and we're going to get into the specifics now. Lulu, people have had your story growing up for you. In case you haven't watched it, you can go ahead and I think it was the second episode, so you can go ahead and watch the full episode where it was just all about him. I witnessed everything you went through. It was tough. You were like the odd one out. Um it was really tough for you growing up. And I think one of the reasons I went in search of answers is you're like one of those reasons. My husband, my kids also a part of the reasons, but you're also a big reason because I just felt like everyone cannot, like there's just something going on. Something is going on. We couldn't explain it, but neurodivergence is the thing. Neurodivergence in the terms of they being different. Lolus, so we've listened to you your story when you came on the show the first time. So now that you have understood ADHD, and in case you're wondering what is ADHD, it is attention um Please remind me. Attention, I'm
Deficit.
sorry.
Attention
Attention
deficit
Attention
deficit
and
deficit hyperactivity disorder.
disorder.
hyper.
Thank you.
Disorder.
It almost escaped my mind. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. We do not like calling it disorder. We like calling it a condition, and its conditions would present traits like you just heard. Um, so now you've figured out you've got ADHD. Number one, this is the first question. How did that make you feel? And what have you been doing since then? How has that impacted your life generally?
All right. First off, I think I tried to mention in the beginning that it broke me. It broke me because, I mean, it's hard waking up one morning and realizing that you've been living in denial. You've been living a false identity because I had to mask. Because I mean, I had to mask at some point
What
because I
is
don't tell
masking?
people. Masking is when you try to become a neurotypical as a neurodivergent. You try to become who they want you to be. That's masking. So I became gentle. I mean, I know that till tomorrow. Sometimes my mom is, I mean, our mom. My mom sees me and she just starts dancing, and I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" She says, "So you can be this gentle." Like, because I mean, it was the extreme opposite when I was young. You get what I'm saying? So I just smile because I am not gentle. Being gentle is me masking, even though I've decided to not let that part of me go because it gives me the kind of peace I want, So, but I mean, I had to mask and, I had to, at some point, from being an extraordinary kid, I began to struggle to be average. I was struggling, I struggled, but I mean, I picked. I was happy because I mean it's better late than never, And now that I know that I am different, I have a full understanding of who I am because I've been in search of this person. I've tried to. I always tell people that I'm different. It's as bad as sometimes I want to queue. I mean I'm on the queue to use the ATM card. I just find myself stepping out for no reason. Like for no reason, unprovoked. I just find myself stepping on. Like I noticed that I do that, cautiously. So, I mean, I now that I understand who I am, I understand my identity. I'm beginning to channel my energy. I mean, I'm challenging my attention strictly on my strengths. You get what I'm saying? I'm focusing on my strengths. Lately I decided to. I mean, I'm a fashion designer. I struggled with the administrative part of my business. And lately I took the step after realizing that I'm not one to sit with computing and stuff. I decided to employ somebody that could handle that for me. So rather than worry about what I do not have over, what I do not have power over, while I'm still trying to learn them, I do not, I do not, I do not stress myself. I do not force myself. I just right now I want to focus on my creativity. I want to focus on
Mm,
my gift. I want to,
right.
I want to be able to, I want to be expressive.
You want to be
You might have to. So
expressive.
sometimes when I'm talking, you might have to cut me short because I'm just going to be
Don't worry,
honest.
I understand. But I also want people to see what ADHD is like real time. And the reason they want to see it is so that they can understand it, so that, and then they can recognize it as well. So when someone is doing that, or when they meet somebody doing that, they're able to say, oh, you're not just a talkative, or they're able to say that, this person possibly maybe like has ADHD. So let's try and redirect. Let's try and see if we can get back to what we're conversing. But even through some of the things ADHDers would say, you'll find out that you'll get wisdom from them. Okay. So, Oreva, now the same question to you. When you first found out that, oh, like you said, it's not village people, I'm not possessed, right? I do not have this spiritual problem. What I have actually has a definition, it has an explanation. It's ADHD. How did that make you feel?
That's exactly how it made me feel. Jide, like I felt,
I
I
can relate,
felt
bro.
this sense, I felt this sense of relief
Hmm.
that so you're not broken after all. Your mind just works differently. Now, interestingly, I started seeing this series on Prime Video, House. It's a medical show,
Yeah.
and one thing that show opened my eyes to see was how like behind the scenes doctors have to like go through different diagnoses before they are able to like pinpoint what exactly the issue is.
Hmm.
Do you get? So you could you could be reading off the symptoms and say this is what is wrong with this person, and then you are giving them this medication, but then it's having an adverse effect on them. Do you get? So they now have to like go back to the board again, brainstorm and whatnot. Several times they have to go through several failed diagnoses before they get to the right one. And when they get the right one, you would see that this person that was terminally ill, just a few medicine and then they're okay, they're able to
Right.
live. And that's like how it felt for me. It's like
Hmm.
all my life
Hmm.
I've been trying to diagnose what exactly the issue is. Do you get? And when I finally discovered ADHD and started reading up on it, it was like, wow, I felt like I had this Dr. House moment, like, oh, this is it. It was a
Wow.
eureka moment for me. Do you get?
Like the explanation you've been waiting for all your life. Like you said,
Exactly.
you're not broken, you're not possessed. You have something. It has a name. Its name is ADHD. And it's not just you, it's millions and millions of people, even
Out there.
millions of people in Africa. You know what? I'm so glad both of you are on the show today because you both of you represent where we're a community that they do not want to hear about it. Even here in the US, many Africans still shy away from the topic. They do not want to be associated with it. They do not want to associate their children with it. And so I am wondering though, many people that say, oh, I do not want to get a diagnosis for my kid because I do not want my kid to be labeled. Both of you were not labeled. Both of you did not get a diagnosis. Do you feel like your life is better off, or do you feel like your life would have been better off if you got a diagnosis when you were little? Or Eva, you can go ahead
Lulu,
and
do you
answer
want?
that first. Did you get the question?
Yeah, I got the question.
Yes, go ahead.
So, just thinking, I would like to think that my life would have been better if I was diagnosed early enough,
Mm,
as to being diagnosed late. Do you get? Because like I really just found this out recently. Like say Lulu, when was this? Say November ish. Say November, December last year. Do you get? And upon learning this information, yeah, there are certain way I have noticed improvements. Do you get like certain things? You see, part of the me not knowing what was going on for the longest time. Do you get? And I have friends, I have people who I am accountable to, but I cannot explain to them. Do you get? And sometimes when I even try to explain, because I am explaining what I even do not have an idea about,
mm,
they 100% misunderstand me. Do you get? So at some point I got used to being misunderstood. Like
mm,
okay, that's just me. Do you get? Like nobody can understand what I am going through. But upon learning that this is ADHD at play and whatnot, quite recently I had this conversation with a friend. Do you get? Like there was something I was supposed to do for him, and I have not been able to deliver, and the conversation got really heated. Do you get, to the point where I got angry and I ended the call. But I was able to go back to the conversation again and like, bro, please try and understand my point of view. Do you get? Like try and understand that what I'm saying to you is not me trying to make an excuse to you. Do you get? I had to now send him a couple of links. I'm like, please, if you really want to understand me, please take out time and read this link. Just read this article. And you get that conversation in our broad, he opened room for that conversation. So for him too, it was his first time to hear ADHD as well. But upon reading that article, that conversation ended up with both of us apologizing to each other. I'm like, I'm sorry, I had this, the outburst. He apologized as well, like, oh, I understand better now why you are acting this way. Now, prior to me knowing this, I'm not sure that conversation would have happened. Maybe that would have been one relationship going sour again.
So, because he understood, can you see what understanding can do? Because he understood you and you also understand yourself, the relationship is better for it. African parents that can hear me now, I know that you think getting your kid a diagnosis may be a curse. It's not. Getting your kid a diagnosis, ADHD, autism spectrum, can initially look weird, labeling and all, but in a way, it can also be a gift. It's a gift for your kid because your kid is not going to outgrow being ADHD. Your kid is not going to outgrow being autistic, whether you get a diagnosis or not. But when you get that diagnosis and you give it to that child, it's an explanation of what is to come. That child understands who he is. They understand why they do what they do. And so life is not weird for them. Like Oreva said, they are able to explain to others, like, this is why I act the way they are. And others are able to understand them. So a diagnosis is not a curse. It is a blessing, especially when a child needs it. All right, now. So I want to talk to you about ADHD. You see, there is a part of the brain called the executive function. The executive function part of the brain is the one responsible for things like prioritizing, things like being organized, things like, for a neurotypical person, the executive function develops accordingly. But you see, for those that have ADHD, it does not really develop the development, some people, it does not develop the way it should. And so that is why ADHDers, you see them, they are forgetful, they are not prioritizing, they are a little bit disorganized. This is not a lack of discipline thing or a willpower not doing it. Say, if I can do it, then you can do it. That's not it. Your own brain developed, it developed that area, so that has helped you. Their own brain has not developed. And I know that it may sound as an excuse, because trust me, I have dealt with ADHDers, and they are annoying. I'm annoyed. I'm like, get this thing done. And my brother and I, we used to fight. Why can't you stick to one thing? We used to fight. But upon understanding, now I know that, oh, I cannot say that, others are better, or I can just say that, okay, how can I help? What can I do? And that's why you see, in advanced country, many of them would have things like therapy. They would just have things. Kidra was here the other time. She was going to tell us about a sound wave, some kind of thing that she did with the mind and the brain and stuff that actually helped her. And that is why they have all these things, so as to, and that's why some people may go the medication route, and then, have to take dopamine that can help them and things like that. But the thing we are trying to say is, understand people and understand why they act the way they are. And if you do, you'd be able to give grace. Lotus, the other day I was talking to you. I said that there is this disparity between neurodivergent and neuro. Oh, Kidra is here. She says neurofeedback. Thank you, Kidra. That's the thing. She had it. She will come talk to us more about it in a little bit when she comes next on the show. It had to do with the brain. They were able to help her. She was telling me, it's so beautiful. I don't want to mess it up by saying the things I'm not sure on, but she's going to come, and she's going to come talk to us about it. Maybe she can even call in at some point. Okay, I was telling you, I said there is a disparity. Neurotypicals don't understand neurodivergence like people that have ADHD. Neurodivergents, they don't even understand, many of them don't even understand that they are neurodivergent. Let's talk less of understanding how it is. But something I've realized is that for you guys to function in a neurotypical world, you have to understand how it works. And I know it's weird and it's unfair, but how does that make you feel, though? That you are in this world that is not set up for you. And what are the things that you are doing right now that you know that would help you, or that you know that you have to do? You have to work extra hard, that would help you in a neurotypical world. Or if I will we'll have you answer first, and then we'll go on to Lulu's.
Okay. I remember the first time you and I were on the call, Jigga, and there was something you mentioned that stuck. Like, I still remember it, and that's really helpful. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say, you said something. You said neurodivergent like us, we have this ability to create. We have this gift of creation. but we're not exactly gifted with maintenance, with keeping it going. So we can start this, and and that's like my life really. Like I have this thing of starting. I can learn new skills and whatnot. Do you get what? I hardly ever finish a project. Do you get, like, see it from the start to the end and whatnot. So now that I know this part of myself, yeah, I'm working towards like collaborating with more neurotypical people, Jigga, who can help me maintain, who can help me build Jigga. So when I create something, Jigga, it can help me sustain it. Yeah, that's the word I've been looking for.
Mm.
They can help me
Sustain,
sustain
maintain.
Jigga. Yeah. Um, what else? What
Okay.
else?
So now you said something about hiring or at least having people that can help you with the areas that is not like your strengths.
Yeah.
You have people help you, you know that you're very creative, you start something, but as a neurodivergent person, you also understand that your strength is not maintaining, sustaining. So you have people that would help you do that. That's a good one. And that's something you found out that you need, to survive, to succeed. You're succeeding just fine, but even to just be the best in a neurotypical world. Lulu's, the same question over to you. And we're going to be opening our phone line. So if you'd like to call us, please go ahead and do so right now. The number to call is 817-935-8734. Again, the number to call is 817-935-8734. You can also go ahead and leave us a comment in the comment section. Okay, leave us a comment in the comment section. We want to hear from you. Thank you so much for everyone that's been participating so far. Leave us a comment, send us a shout out, call in if you're able to, so that we can continue to have this conversation. Share your story, share the story, what you've had, what you've seen so far. All right, we have an incoming call. Let's quickly take it. Hello and welcome to the Neurodivergent Show. What's your name and where are you calling us from, please?
This is Keidra Flowers. How are you guys?
Hi, Kidra. Lolu, Oreva, can you hear Kidra?
No, I can't.
Okay.
That's why I
Oh,
even moved
now we
closer.
have the thing with the, let her just say something and then I'll say it so that we can just keep it going. So yeah, because we don't really have a lot of time. Go ahead, Kidra.
Okay. Oh, let me go ahead and read it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. I relate to so much that you're sharing. That has been my life, and that here in America. So even though there's a little bit more acceptance in, the Black community in America, there's still the desire not to want to have the label. So I was diagnosed at 43. So, but everything you're saying I could relate to. But what if, and this is coming from a neurodivergent, but like in the school systems, there are as many of us there. So this is just the way our brain works. And there's ways that typical brains work. And even within the typical spectrum, there are levels. So I don't think that it's that we're broken. It's that the system is broken. Someone set up a lane and said everyone needs to be in this lane or else you're divergent. And we have to accept that and we have to move with it. But we need to embrace it because there's creativity. There's so much. Everything that we love right now, the podcast would not exist without neurodivergence. Neurotypicals aren't going to do this. They're at work. Not to say in a bad way, but
Oh, they
you know
do.
what I'm
They
saying?
work.
They're not going to
They at
step
work. They
out.
do. They do. They do the work. 9 to 5. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Shout out.
you know, And so we have to have the designers and the creators and the starters to have these ideas so that neurotypicals can steal them, hire people, and build what they want.
Right. Mm.
That's
That
that's
is
how it works.
that is a very beautiful one, and I just love what you said, because if as a society we begin to understand everyone's strengths and begin to deal with them as such, we're going to have a beautiful, beautiful. Because yours mind, if we can let you be, if we can let you be without trying to pull you down with the neurotypical judgment and expectation, right? If we can let you all flourish and let you do your thing, I tell you, you all are going to do such great things in the world that would be mind blowing, mind blowing. Because the more they try to bring you down by not meeting the expectation for the neurotypical world, it tends to, like Lulu and Oreva, and you have also mentioned, it brings down your creativity. It just makes you feel like you want to be average, but you are not destined to be average. You're destined to do the things, great
More.
things, beautiful things
Yeah.
that God has created you. If we understood, I feel like as a Christian, now that I'm researching more and reading, if we can understand the purpose God has made neurodivergent, the purpose for which God has made neurodivergent, it's going to be a beautiful world, a better, blessed world. Go ahead, Kidra.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, the way that God created us is perfect for his design. No one would ever go to a cat and tell the cat it should be a dog, or to a dog and tell the dog it should be a lion. Like, we are made the way we're made for the purpose that we are here to fulfill. And so the bumps and the things that we run into while we're trying to figure it out, the reason that I can't remember the name of in the black shirt, but all of the things you kept bumping into was pushing you to a space where you are open to meet a Lolu, to get the answer. It's all by design. It's just beautiful to watch. I love watching this. Thank you, Emo.
Thank you so much, Kidra,
Thank you
and we
so
can't wait
much.
to have you back on the show. Thank you
Thank you
for
so much. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
yeah, thank you for that. That is so beautiful, Kidra. Um, like honestly, I think I know that I'm a Christian, and one of the ways I know that you can navigate this world as neurodivergent would be to do we have an echo though? I'm trying to make sure that everything is working well so we do not have echo, we do not have feedbacks and stuff. But I know that one of the way you all will be able to flourish in this life is by God's grace, because trust me, the more I research, the more I look into neurodivergence, ADHD, the more I feel so. The truth is, I actually feel bad as a human. I feel like life is not fair to you. That's the
So,
truth.
so I mean, I was waiting to for you to call me, but I have to interrupt you.
Go
I
ahead.
felt the urge to interrupt you for a minute
Please
here,
go
and
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
yes, I just need to chip this in. You asked my opinion about being in a world where this is happening. And to be honest, for starters, I feel cheated, and that is one of the things that inspire me to even want to be better. Because I mean, I have my friends. After we spoke upon awareness, I was able to reach out, and a few friends to identified as being ADHDs. And one of the things we share or we tell ourselves is, if you want to win the system, unfortunately you cannot create another system here, but you cannot lose to this system. To you have to still win the system. You have to tell the system that, yo, I'm sorry I have to use the vulgar word, but fuck you, system. Yeah, we are winning you.
Censor that.
We're winning you, whatever it is. Because it is not a case of a disorder. It's not a case of. It's just a case of having a different kind of brain. And in this case, our brain should even get the respect and the value and all the ovations that we deserve. But we are instead seen struggling to do the things the neurotypical people do effortlessly. And it's rather unfair. But I mean, um, well, we do not have a choice. We cannot create a system. We cannot create our world yet. The best we can do is create a community. And I think I should chip this in real quick. Oreva and I and a couple of other friends, we are creating awareness in this part of the world. We're trying to create a community where we can confide in ourselves. We can encourage ourselves. Because well, awareness is, I say that awareness is almost all the drugs you need. I mean, it's almost all the treatments you need. Once you're aware, you're good to go. And you all need to watch out for us. We're winning soon. All of us are
Yes.
winning.
You know what? When Kidra
Yes,
was on the
sir.
show the last time, she also, one of the things she, at 43, she got diagnosed, but one of the things she was trying to point out is, of course, we understand that it's unfair, and that's the truth. We can't take away from that. It's unfair. It's really unfair the way the system works. But she also emphasized that you can succeed. Like, in
Yeah.
fact, you should succeed. I think what she is even saying is that you should prove to the world that you will succeed, despite, in spite of everything going on, you will succeed. And for a neurodivergent that would want that has that mindset would go far, and that's why Kidra is succeeding. How she understood her strength, what is not a strength she's able to help work on. She said something about hiring some people, therapy, anything that can help her succeed in a neurotypical world. And she's now she's like a testimony that yes, you can succeed in your neurotypical world. And it's just not Kidra. There's so many people. The other day you were telling me about Trevor Noah, and I think I
Yeah.
listened to a short clips where he talked about let's take this call and then we'll get back to Trevor Noah in a little bit. Hello, this is the Neurodivergent Show. Oh, I think we missed that caller. Please kindly call us back when you're able to, if and when you're able to. Trevor Noah had mentioned that he also has ADHD, and there's so many celebrities also that are ADHDs. But one of the things he said is, in order to succeed, he knows his potential, he knows the kind of things he can achieve. And so what he's done is he's made up his mind to succeed. And that means he's going to have to do extra. He's going to have to, he says he keeps a routine according to what he said, try and show up, try and be there. Even if things may not come as natural for him, he tries to go far and beyond, because I know that there's certain things. The reason I'm saying that is there's so many neurodivergent out there who seem frustrated. This thing will not come natural to you, but um you have to fight. You have to fight for yourself. You have to fight for your life. You have to fight to prove the world wrong. You have to let them know that you can make it, because you can and you will. But in order to do that, you have to adjust to the neurotypical system, which is unfair but doable in a way. And I'm so sorry that this is the way life is. But I know that definitely if you're able to, gather everything you need to gather, you're going to be so great out there that even neurotypicals are not even going to be able to come close to you. Let's see if we can pick this call. Hello, welcome to the Neurodivergent Show. What's your name and where are you calling us from? Josephine calling from Tennessee. Hi. um
Hi,
Thank
Joseph.
you. How would you like to contribute to the show?
Just want to say that I've learned a lot today from understanding Lulu, the strength in regards to the ADHD, and um, and to understand that even though certain things are going on, because again I have a lot of friends that they're smart, creative, but at the end of the day, it's just that one thing that is just off. And because of that one thing that is off, it overshadows that creativity, that dream. It overshadows it. And getting this information just brought a lot of enlightenment to understand that there's something out there that we need to know, that individuals going through this have to know. And we just want to say thank you, for what you're doing, for bringing this awareness. And I just want to say, boys, the sky is the limit for you guys now. Now that you know um, what's going on, now that you know that this is like a second chance, and
To
just
prove the
go ahead
world.
and make
Yes, to make it,
exactly.
and let them know that neurodivergent rule, and let the upcoming ones know that yes, you can do it. We can do it. We
Yeah.
will do it. Even in Africa, I don't know. I'm sorry. I know you're from Tennessee, and you may not know a lot of about Africans and stuff, but we can do it. We can do it, and we will do it. Thank you so much. Do you have any other thing you'd like to add?
No, no, go ahead and subscribe. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. All the way from Tennessee. Thank you so much. Um, thank you guys. Lolus, it's 2 a.m. Nigerian time, so I understand you're tired. Please
3
bear
a.m.
with us a little bit. Right now, you're making me feel like I want to sleep. Please, can you stay? Now, it's working now. Do you have any final word um for parents out there with kids that have ADHD and you're wondering, what should I, where should I go from here? They have a 5-year-old showing signs, symptoms, ADHD. They are not sure what to do. They are not sure, if a diagnosis is right. They are not sure whether to. What do you have to say to people that have ADHD? What do you have to say to parents that have kids that have ADHD? Lolos will start with you, and then we'll go. We'll take Oreva.
All right, so I think I have a final remark for everybody. That's including the neurotypicals. For everybody, um, please, 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 I want to beg you. Um, life is hard. Life is hard. It's hard being an ADHD. Trust me. The least you can do is create more awareness and spread the gospel. You know, a lot of us would have had it better if we were diagnosed early enough. If we weren't ignorant, we'd have had better lives. A lot of us struggled. A lot of us are still struggling. It's hard. So the least you can do is just spread the news out there. Let somebody know what exactly is happening. And then for people that have ADHD, I really do not have much to say because for every ADHD I've met, we want more by default. We are creators. We know we want more. We work. In actual fact, we work 10 times harder than our counterparts. That's the neurotypicals. We work hard. So I mean, I'll just advise that you focus on your strengths and don't try to change that cannot be changed. As much as you can manage it, try to manage it. Then for parents that have kids that maybe have traits of ADHD, please, please, it's okay to be different. In actual fact, it is actually unique to be different. Yeah, focus on your child's strengths. Focus on your child's gift. Your child is a genius. Your child is a special gift to this world. Focus on that gift, and don't force that child to becoming who is not supposed to be or who she's not supposed to be. Focus on the magic that child is, and see that child explore. Thank you for having me on your neurodivergent
Thank you
show.
so
I don't
much,
want to get
Lulu.
emotional. I guess.
Thank you. And then Oreva, it's your turn. What do you have to say?
Okay, so to parents, yeah, I think what I have to say is this. I have a Christian upbringing as well, and the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Now, part of this training, you have to know who you're training. Do you understand? You have to know your child. I happen to be a parent as well, and one of the things I'm learning from parenthood is that part of my responsibilities as a parent is to be able to prepare my children for the world out there because they're not going to be with me forever. Do you get? So through this time that they have with me, it's my responsibility to make sure that they are prepared, they are ready for the world out there. So imagine having a child who has ADHD and then you don't know, the child doesn't know. How well can you really prepare such a child? Do you understand? How well can you really prepare some? So it's very important. It's very important. I feel like just the same way we take some of these like polio, when a child is born, there are certain vaccines you have to take. The way we take those things seriously, yeah, it's high time that parents also take things like this very seriously. Do you get? Like mental health is not something that around here in Africa, like we really take as serious as we should. Do you get? Now we're talking on mental health on different level. Children also have mental health. Do you get? That needs to be watched after. Do you get? So early diagnosis is the way to go. Do you get? It's the way to go. It will help you understand your children better. Do you get? And it will also help you to be able to prepare them for the world out there.
Mm.
Then to fellow ADHDers, like I've been saying to Lulu, yeah, you get this whole idea of starting a community and all of that. I'm like, I'm not one to, and that's why when people tell me I'm making excuses, it hurts me so much because it's like, come on, like, why should I be making excuse? I'm not one to just know something for the sake of knowing it. Do you get once I come upon certain knowledge, I like to practice it. I like to see the impact in my life. Do you get so? Don't just stop at I have ADHD. Do you get like so? Like it's not a flex as much as it is a flex. Do you get the whole idea of knowing how your mind works is so that you would be able to understand how to how to be the best version of yourself out there in the world. Do you get in this world that is not designed for us? So please, by all means, do yourself a favor. Do you get if you can afford therapy, please. Do you get go for that. Learn more. Like read up everything that you can. Do you get like it's like it's like you as an individual, like in a way of speaking, you have a manual that you have not yet you get you have not yet read or gone through. So it's like you need that to be able to understand yourself better, and
Yeah.
you will do yourself a favor. You will do your friends, family, even enemies a favor, and the world at large.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely, absolutely agree. And well said. I like what you said about preparing the next generation, preparing your child. Getting an ADHD diagnosis is you preparing a child for the future the child will have. Because if your child has ADHD, your child is going to grow up to have ADHD. It's not a phase. It's not something that just because you did not get a diagnosis will just pass by and
Yeah, yeah.
it's going to reappear. It's the person's life. So get your child a gift, prepare your child for the future. I've had many Africans say, "Oh, America is too quick to diagnose." No, Africans, we do not diagnose. And this is, if you don't, we do not diagnose. We are passive. We close our eyes. And eventually our kids grow up. Thankfully, Lulu and Oreva are doing very well today. This is not the case for many children out there. This is not the case for many ADHD. Some of them are in prison. Some of them are dead. Just because some of them have, gone crazy, just because they just couldn't understand what was going on with them. So, um, I hope we've seen the light today. I hope we have taken one or two things from all this we've shared today, especially if you are from the African community, and even if you're from the world. We want to appreciate all. Oh, we have a few. We have you guys are awesome. Thank you, Tony. Tony says this is a second chance. Yes, this is a second chance. We want to appreciate all our listeners, all our online tech people. Thank you so much. You guys were awesome. This is 3 a.m. right now in Nigeria, Africa. And we want to especially appreciate Lulu and Raver for waiting all night to do this live. Thank you guys so much. A big shout out, hugs to Kidra. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for your wonderful comments. We appreciate all those that have texted in. Thank you, Tolu. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody that's joined us live. We appreciate you. This is the Neurodivergent Show. We meet here Fridays, 7 p.m. live, where we discuss everything ADHD, everything autism, OCD, and dyslexia. My name is Imo Folami. Until next week, Friday, 7 p.m., when I come your way again, have yourself a good night. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.